Hello interwebs, and thank you for tuning in to Wowhead's Downtime Tuesday. My name's Panzer, and today I'm going to be talking about the happenings of the past week in the world of Warcraft. I hope that you enjoy this video, and if you do, remember to rate it thumbs up. So obviously patch 6.2.2 went live last week, so there's not a lot of new stuff in game to talk about that I haven't already talked about. So I'm kind of going to cover two things. The first of which being that Wowhead recently partnered up with Jinx.com, and we're going to have a different coupon every month, and this month's coupon is good for 25% off any t-shirt on Jinx.com. So you can just use code Wowhead at checkout and get 25% off all t-shirts. I'll have a graphic up on the screen so you can see what that's like, because who doesn't like t-shirts from Jinx? Ironically, I'm not wearing a t-shirt from Jinx right now, but I usually am. The second thing that I'm going to talk about is some new Legion info. Most of this came from DragonCon, and I do want to preface all of this with the beta isn't even out yet, so all of this information is highly tentative, it is subject to change, it is not written in stone, so get hype, but don't get too hype that you make yourself angry. So yeah. So I kind of blocked up this information into different categories, and the first category is class changes. So one of the big things we found out at DragonCon is that most classes will be getting a total overhaul, just everything is going to be looked at and tweaked and changed and stuff like that. And that also a lot of specs are going to be renamed to emphasize the fantasy aspect of World of Warcraft. And furthermore, some classes and some specs will have their resources renamed. For instance, priests will be using insanity in Legion. Also, very exciting news, we found out that we are in fact getting a high-res boomkin model in Legion. Yes. Now, as we found out before, survival hunters will be melee and they will use spears, but some new information is that they will have an ability called harpoon, where they can chuck their spear at an enemy and then reel it back in to pull enemies towards them, which is kind of awesome. We also did definitively find out that the Rogue Class Hall is planned to be in the sewers of Dalaran, and I know a lot of people are upset about this because they wanted to see the Rogue Class Hall in Ravenhold, and the developers went as far as to apologize for making Ravenhold seem so cool in the past, because apparently it's not nearly as cool as this area that they have planned for the Dalaran sewers, and it's not going to be sewer-like. I don't know. I'm just passing the information on. Don't shoot the messenger or stab her with a poison dagger, please. Also, there are changes planned to many of the tertiary stats, but the biggest of which is that multi-strike is being completely removed, which as someone who played an elemental shaman for half of this expansion makes me sort of have a lot of feelings, because multi-strike has been all that mattered to some classes this whole expansion, so yeah, that's a thing. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the next topic of discussion, which is professions in Legion. It was emphasized once again at DragonCon that there will be quest lines tied to each profession, which I think a lot of players are looking forward to. We also found out that they are planning on significantly reducing or possibly even removing the long cooldowns on gated profession items. So as a scribe, you need to get those paints, and there won't be a 24-hour cooldown on making those paints, stuff like that. There'll still be a limit of 3 as to how many crafted items you can equip, but they did change the way that upgrading items works in Legion. Right now, you obviously use a token, and they've completely removed that kind of upgrade token system. Instead, you'll be able to use this special thing to destroy the piece of gear that you want to upgrade, and you'll get an item called Oblitarium, I think it's called, and you'll be able to use that to craft a better item. Also worth mentioning is that as of right now, there are no planned new major glyphs. I'm sure this doesn't come as much of a surprise, but the next topic of discussion of things that we learned at DragonCon about Legion is pretty much all about demon hunters. We found out that demon hunters are planned to start at level 98 as of right now, and they will be able to equip one-handed swords and glaives. A lot of people have been curious about the Demon Hunter ability Metamorphosis, and we got a little more clarification about it this week at DragonCon. Metamorphosis will be a short transformation with a cooldown, so it won't work in the same way as a Boomkin or a Shadow Priest. It will just be a cooldown that you use, and you'll turn into a demon for a little while, and then you'll come back out of demon form and go back into your regular elven form. Now, we've heard this before, but I keep seeing it come up, so I'm going to mention it. We are getting one additional character slot to accommodate Demon Hunters so that you theoretically could have one of every class on the same realm. Also, this didn't happen at DragonCon, but Chris Robinson, who is the lead art director at Blizzard, shared this image over the weekend, which is possibly the Demon Hunter crest and is definitely very, very badass. Some miscellaneous things that we learned about Legion at Dragon Con include, but are not limited to, the fact that the transmog system coming in Legion is very similar to that in Diablo 3 and will possibly be account-wide. Please, for the love of Thrall, be account-wide. We do know that we won't be getting any more void storage or bank tabs, but honestly, with the Diablo 3 style transmog system, that shouldn't be necessary because it'll free up all the spots that are holding gear right now for transmog. It was also reiterated that dungeons will be very important and relevant in Legion, but they didn't give us any more information about it. And kind of the big, wow thing that we found out is that there will possibly be an adventure mode in World of Warcraft in Legion, and I just can't even fathom how that would work. In Diablo, adventure mode is when you've cleared an area, you can go back at a higher level and everything's scaled up to your level, and you don't do quests, you can just run through that area and get your level loot. So I don't know if that's going to be similar in that way, or if it maybe is I don't know if you guys played in Mists of Pandaria, but on the Isle of Thunder, you could kill guys and you would get keys, and then you could use the keys to do a treasure run. So I don't know if it's going to be something like that. I don't know if it's going to be scaling in dungeons so that you can solo things at a level that is comparable with your own. I just don't know. I'm so curious as to what adventure mode in WoW could possibly be, and that leads us right into our question of the day, which is, what do you think adventure mode would be like in World of Warcraft? Let me know in the comment section below, and while you think about your answer, check out our answers to last week's question. And thank you so much for watching Wowhead's Downtime Tuesday. My name is Panzer and my YouTube channel is TradeChat. If you enjoyed the video, please thumb it up, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already, and answer our question in the comment section below. As always, everything I talked about today is linked in the information underneath this video. I hope that you will tune in next Tuesday and every Tuesday for future episodes of Downtime Tuesday, because Tuesday, and to see if your comment, is in our featured section. I'm sorry if this video seemed a little shorter than usual. It is Labor Day. Most people are not working today, and I just had a very hard time getting motivated, so I did my best, and I wore my Godzilla shirt, and yeah, not a bad outro. Last week I had a pretty good outro, and then I called it an intro, just immediately tanking it, but I think this week went pretty well. I'm gonna go. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed your long weekend. If you got one, I love you all. You're in my heart. I'll see you soon. Goodbye. 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 Starting this year, so soon, we're going to be getting new rewards for Hallow's End and Winter's Veil, including garrison decorations, and Winter's Veil is getting a new mount and a new pet, and there's all sorts of cool new toys, and I'm really, really freaking hype about this. I also heard that you can keep your garrison decorations up all year round, and I'm doing it! I'm doing it, and I'm hoping that we can mix and match. I really want a jack-o'-lantern and a Christmas tree just hanging out next to each other like that's normal, because that's my life.